Hi everyone, it's me, Isabel. It's been such a long time. My stomach just growled. It's been a really long time since I filmed. I'm so sorry. It was my first year of college, finished, and now I am back home in Taiwan. I just wanted to film this video because a few days ago, or yesterday, I was watching JENNIM's video of being Korean American, and this was a tag from Amy, her friend, who was doing this in terms of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And I was watching some videos on BuzzFeed, which they also had other people talking about their experiences being immigrants or also like born in America but having to face like some difficulties and also successes being Asian. So I thought I would share some of my stories. I am really passionate about it overall. Basically what Amy did was she put a whole tag, a few questions. I just did her questions that she provided and just answered them back on my trusty dusty laptop. Without further ado, we'll just start with it. New look, hello. I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm Taiwanese American and I am a second generation immigrant. My parents, they left Taiwan to go to America, and they met and they fell in love, and I was born on July 22nd in San Diego. And that's how I came to be. Like, we were in San Diego and then we moved to Irvine and then we moved to San Jose. I would have Chinese school and I would also have temple. And these were things that were usually happening during my weekends, and it was just kind of weird to connect with other people and realize that they didn't have Chinese school or they didn't have temple to go to during the weekends. That was when I kind of felt like I was different, but I just didn't really know why. I was just like, oh, maybe that's just my family likes to do this. Never really had that much thought about it. What really made me realize how different I was when my family moved to Taiwan because of my dad's job. During that time, I was placed into an international school in Taiwan, IBSH. I just started to notice the difference of like, oh, being Asian. Our school was literally like, a whole grade was like 57 people, and literally all of them were Asian. There were only probably a few that were not. Even in that huge group of people that were like the same ethnicity as me, I felt different. I realized like my experience in Taiwan would be so different from my friends back in America. Like their high school experiences, or like all the movies that I would watch of like prom. We did have prom, but it's like these experiences were not going to be at like the same as it would be if I was back in America. And that's when I started to realize the difference of it. Or like international school, it's where academia is largely English based. But you will also have Chinese class. You also have Chinese social studies, which that adds on to an extra 2 hours. So when usually back in America, I would end class at 2:47, I'd end class here at 4:10. So that was always something weird to adjust with, and also like the culture was not entirely similar to being in America and like having the education there. When I was back in America, I would be like super excited of being going to Taiwan, because I was like, this is the place where I love how crowded it is. I was always really happy to go to Taiwan. I would find my family, like my relatives and my grandma. She cooked amazing food. It was only once I went back to Taiwan, I actually lived there, like lived here permanently for like 8 years. That's when I started to really like reject my culture, because I felt like everything was so homogenized and there wasn't really much diversity. Not saying all Asians are the same. If someone says that, like, but in terms of like our background was pretty much similar. In my high school, it was incredibly competitive. There would be days where I felt like I was living in a bubble because everyone was kind of striving for the same things, that it just started to become really like pressuring. Overall, I really wanted to meet people that were different from me, like they had different stories, they had a different background, as opposed to something so similar, because I felt like that really just made me focus on like a really narrow mindset as opposed to have like a wider mindset. I only started to really like appreciate it was when I came back from my first semester of college. I go to college in New York. So New York and Taiwan is literally like halfway across the globe. It's just so far away. There is still like some parts of Taiwanese culture, but it's pretty minuscule compared to coming back here. It really just allowed me to miss home and realize like there are some experiences that I have that no one is able to really comprehend and really truly understand. I felt so grateful to have. I felt so grateful to be called the international student because it really allowed me to gain this like critical viewpoint, the way of how I saw my life back in Taiwan and my life during college. Okay, so some stereotypes that I managed to struggle with. Asians are smart, Asians are good at math. There's so many others that I could keep on talking about, but that would just take a really long time. But this pressure like that was not really spoken, but you could still feel Asians should be doing something that's more practical, something more science or like STEM based. I was never really the person who was good at that. I would always struggle on the subjects that Asians were expected to be good at. Wanting to do performing arts, that just really made me different. A lot of people would really judge comments of like, oh, are you sure you really want to do performing arts? Because it's not like something that's biological. I'm not born where I'm just naturally good at math and science. I get so tired when people just say that it's something that's so natural. It's not. How much hard work is instilled in like the academic system in Taiwan, or like the kind of culture and like ideals that your parents instill onto you. That's like the stereotype that I really just struggled with during growing up in this kind of Taiwanese culture. They essentially instilled what they were taught from their parents to put onto like me and my brother. They had more of a traditional mindset when it came to gender norms, for example. For being a female, I was expected to be prim and proper, not to be too loud, like not focusing. Is it focusing? Okay, yay! Often it's like what's expected of a son and what's expected of a daughter. And yeah, like the things that they have been taught at a young age differs from like the things that I've been taught in college. I've taken like classes in women and gender studies. Classes like those really challenge like the social norms and like gender norms, like expectations that are given. That was like a huge eye-opener for things that I've always questioned but was never really able to put a firm like stance or belief in. A lot of my views that often or sometimes come in clash with my parents are because I take the indoctrinations that they bring to me, and I also take like my outside college experience, analyzing what are the stances that I believe, like what are the values that I hold true. I feel like in Western like culture, they emphasize on individualism. It's that certain sense of like finding your own self and that you are the one who's able to create your own destiny. I don't know if that really is truly related, but like it's somewhat related. Yeah. Yes, I am extremely proud to be Taiwanese American. I think both cultures, Taiwanese and being American, like these really shaped the person that I am. There's this way where I can compare and contrast and even like fuse together differing viewpoints. I remember I was talking to my dad, came back from my first semester of college, realizing that being Taiwanese is something that I'm really proud of. And he said like, yeah, the thing is that you'll always be Taiwanese, not American, like that's for sure. I stopped him and I said, the thing is that I don't believe that American means only one thing, like being American is being white. Instead, being American is being Korean American, being Japanese American, Latinx American, African American, and even immigrants make up what is American. That's my definition. Yes, you can be both. You can be Taiwanese, you can be American. There should be this part where American encapsulates Taiwanese or like Korean. Just people who come to the States and just want to be here. I really identify with it. It's kind of like gratitude that you have because there's so much more to you. Your ethnicity is important, but it's not something that solely defines you. Our last question. My favorite thing about being Asian American is bringing forth a different perspective when I'm in the States or when I'm even in Taiwan. Stereotypes are still so prevalent in our society. I can't like tell you how many times I've like had so many microaggressions that were directed at me, or like stereotypes that people would use. Are you kidding me? I think being a Taiwanese American really just allows me to be like this advocate against these stereotypes. There wouldn't be this kind of belief that, oh, I would just breathe in and take it. I want people to understand that stereotypes are not the way to allow people to get together. Instead, it just divides other people. It really makes me uncomfortable when people just reduce my personality or who I am as a person to just something so simple and something so offensive. I think being Taiwanese American really allows me to just understand that there's still so much that needs to be done in terms of bringing more representation when it comes to like TV shows or movies, because there are so many stereotypes that like you can see in film. The Great Wall, for example, and assume that white people are the ones that are saving China. You would never really understand or realize that there's a certain kind of dignity, something that's more magnificent and the actual true story of something than an outsider's viewpoint of a country that's alien. That's really just my favorite thing about being an Asian American. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm incredibly thankful for those who watched till the end. I will put the questions down below in the description, and you can just write on the comments of what you feel like it is being an Asian American. You can comment down below, or you can make your own video and tag me on it. I would love to see it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was hard at times to say, but it's something that I'm incredibly happy to do. And I hope you guys enjoy Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, and have a good day. I am an incredibly awkward being. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.